This is my lovely audience, Nicole, Sharon, and Anna. Okay, you guys ready to hear my speech about social media? So the title of my speech is Social Media, Who Knew, right? Social media has become a huge part of our society. I remember the first day Instagram came out and all my friends made accounts, but I wasn't allowed to, which is kind of a bummer. But it already had a huge impact on the people in my class, and it only been out for a few hours. Now it has grown into many different forms. It has grown into Snapchat and Twitter, and Facebook's still around, so go Facebook. So I want to talk mostly about how the information of social media and how the use of social media affects us. So Bevere did a study and talked about how because social media is open to everyone, there's a constant flow of information coming. So it can sound like white noise, like the fans in this room. It can be like white noise to us. So how many times have you gone onto your feed and just scrolled through feeling like you've seen the same thing over and over again, because it's the white noise effect that Bevere is talking about. And this causes some important things to be overlooked by us that are being put on to social media that need to be exposed. But because of this white noise effect, we miss it. And that is one huge part of social media that affects us on a daily basis. Another part is simple things like emojis can have a huge impact on our emotional and mental stage of life. And Vareen did a study on this, and he did a quantitative study. So he did a survey and found that 90% of people see texts that have emojis in them as more impactful. How crazy is that? A little picture makes a text more impactful in our view. And people view their text messages and interpret them through the emojis that are used in the text messages, which can cause a lot of miscommunication if you don't use the right emoji. How many times have we experienced this? We've done it to other people and they've done it to us. Yes, I like the nodding in agreement. It's a huge impact on our mental and emotional state, and a big part of it is can be the miscommunication part, is where we're reading into it wrong and we're not understanding fully what this person is trying to say, and it can have a negative mental and emotional impact on us, which is crazy that a tiny little digital picture can have that big of an impact on us. Also, with vocabulary, we have new vocabulary words because of social media. LOL. GTD, G, and BRB. Like, how many times a day do we get up from a seat and be like, oh, BRB, or something funny happens, or like, LOL. Like, that came around because of social media. And this was also discovered by Bevere, back to his study, and he found that this came along with digital messaging and social media, and it wouldn't be around if it wasn't for these things. So that's interesting. Also, TESI did a study on how high schoolers use social media, which is different from us college students, but it also has a big impact on us because we were high schoolers when social media was still around and still a thing. And they found that YouTube and Facebook and Twitter were the main social media platforms used by high schoolers. This data is a little dated, so I think that if it was taken today, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and Twitter would be the top 4. But this has a huge impact on us, knowing this information and how much high schoolers are using it, because this was us. Like, a few years ago, we were the high schoolers using these social media apps, and they're on them all the time. And the most commonly used one he found was YouTube, which is interesting, probably because of YouTubers and bloggers putting new stuff out almost every day. Now let's talk about college students. That's us. Landry did a study and specifically focused on the use of social media in the classroom, and found that students who use social media in the classroom have lower GPAs, and 97% of the students she studied had a social media account of some type, which is huge. And even in conversations, like if we're like, oh, I don't think they have the Instagram, we're like, what? Why don't they have an Instagram? Which I think is so crazy to see how just one simple thing has impacted us so much. And it's good to know that the use of social media can affect our GPAs and can affect our grades and our future. And lastly, and most importantly, miscommunication online, especially with our political climate right now, is so important to talk about. Guzzer did a study and found that many political miscommunications, happened on Twitter. And this is very important to be aware of with fake news and all this other things going around in our political climate today. So with all that being said, it's very important for us to be aware of the impact just a simple little app or tweet or something can have on our daily life. And we need to be very diligent and aware of these effects on us and other people and what we might be doing to others and what they're doing to us. So thanks for listening.